Hi, it's election time once again and time for another installment of Touring with the Candidates. In this program you'll see each of the candidates running for Carpinteria City Council. They each had up to 18 minutes to give the viewers their personalized tour of Carpinteria. The content and itinerary was up to the candidates. So strap on your seatbelts for another episode of Touring with the Candidates. I'm your host, Larry Nimmer.
Larry, I was just in here pretending not to be expecting you.
Very good. Mike Ledbetter, how are you today?
Fine, come on in.
Thank you.
Let's go out on the back porch here where I was
I'll let you lead the way.
reading the paper, having my coffee. Let's show you the pond. We got a couple of garden ponds here in the house.
I see some fish there.
Yeah, that's Dot and Not Dot. Dot is the one with the dot on her head, and Not Dot is the other one. Maybe give them a little food. I don't know if they will come to the top to eat. There they go.
And are these water lilies?
These are water hyacinths.
Oh, very nice.
And they grow well in there because the raccoons never get to them and eat them. As opposed to out here, where we have the larger pond area. My wife and I put all these rocks in ourselves. We got them for free from a place where my wife used to work, a horse ranch up in the hills. And now these guys, they'll come up eventually. They don't like people too close to them when they eat, though.
What do you like about having a pond in your backyard?
Oh, it's kind of a peaceful place, you know. The sound of water is always nice. It's nice to come out here and sit. There the fish are starting to eat.
What type of fish are they?
They're just,
Are they carp?
most of them are common goldfish. There's a few fancy goldfish in there.
So you constructed this yourself?
Oh yes, so we constructed and designed everything here and set it all up ourselves. I only got help from Brad Stein helped me with this rock right here that I'm sitting on, which weighs 2,200 pounds.
Do you know what type of stone that is?
I don't. I got it when McNall's Building Materials went out of business, and it just seemed like the perfect stone to put right here. So now we got a rock in our backyard.
It looks kind of like one of the large rocks from the Marsh Park.
Oh, let's go by there later.
Okay, good.
Great. Larry asked about this sundial. This is a hemispheric sundial. It's unlike the usual ones you see in that this casts a shadow on this semicircular dial, and wherever the shadow of the arrow is, that's what tells the time. Larry, maybe you can get a more close-up picture here of this. This arrow, in order for it to operate right, needs to be pointed at the North Star, and this is the shadow of the all right, it's about 9 o'clock right now. The shadow of the arrow is on the 8 because it's daylight savings time still. And when that changes, then it would be on the correct 9. Well, thanks for going out to see my pond with me.
Okay, nice.
Come on in the house.
Thank you.
This is our living room.
Is that a new piano?
Yeah, I got this piano in the last few years. It's an electronic digital piano.
I know you like to play tunes at various events in the city? What type of places have I spotted you playing?
The Creek Committee. I played at the Thunder Bowl opening for a little bit. I played a Lou Grant fundraiser, a couple other fundraisers that were pretty fun. Let me just play this one song for you real quick.
I see there's some special buttons and gadgets. What type of things can it do here?
Oh, if you want somebody to just follow you along while you play, it'll do that too, all by itself, as if you have an orchestra with you.
Very nice. I know you love your music, but we're about 6 minutes in, and you have 18 minutes, so...
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey!
Time to do some touring?
Ready to go. Larry, I'm here with you in my convertible, ready to go on the tour, and one thing that everybody needs if they're going to be out in the sun for any length of time in Carpinteria is a good sturdy hat, and this one's mine, so I'm putting it on now.
Is it kind of a Stanley Livingston type of hat?
It's a pith helmet, and it keeps you cool in the summer, doesn't rest on the top of your head, and it's got a strap so it doesn't fly off in the wind, which is real important. Okay?
Ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay, we're on our way downtown from Memorial Park, near where I live. And now we're passing Dahlia Court, just taken over by People's Self-Help Housing. And Jill Martinez there is doing a wonderful job in upgrading living conditions for the people that live there and making it a convenient place for people to have low-income housing here in the community, which is good.
Is the city of Carpinteria supporting that?
We have helped them every way we can, and we donate a little, give a little money and time to them so that they can do what they need to do. There's talk of them taking over another property in town, and if that goes through, that would be great. Okay, we're driving by Aliso School, where my daughter Lauren is in Mrs. Castagna's class. Aliso, home of the Lions. And if you look out, you see the play field, which is a wonderful spot. In the wintertime when it's wet, there's often ducks that go out there and other waterfowl that play. Either they come over from the marsh or from somewhere else, but it's a great place to go to school, and I'm really glad she can grow up here in Carpinteria.
Rolling again.
All right, we're going by Chapel Court. Another housing opportunity here in Carpinteria. You see how nice all the property is in this area. There's a shopping cart that shouldn't be there, naturally, as we go by. This is property by the railroad. There's our new railroad siding where the train stops in Carpinteria now. And we're coming up on the skateboard park too.
Did the city of Carpinteria help sponsor the skateboard park?
Yes, we donated the land where it sits, and it was built by volunteers. It's not in use right now, but you can see that it's pretty extensive, and they can do a lot of tricks there if they want.
It's part of the idea that it keeps kids busy so they don't get into monkey business.
Well, you want to provide the programs for youth that they're actually going to use, and any kind of activity is good activity in that regard. if it keeps them away from stuff they shouldn't be doing. Just the same, we're looking for a permanent home for that skateboard park where it can be supervised a little more closely and where we can use that downtown parking lot for a better use. Over on the left you see the Linden Field soccer fields where my daughter's going to be playing soccer at 1 o'clock today. Up in front of us, by the way, is Gary Dobbins of the Coastal View going to the beach.
One of his nice cars.
In his nice new Range Rover. Not new, but new for us, new for him. We're going to go up to Ash Avenue and the Marsh Park. Larry, this is the Marsh Park down on Ash Avenue. Thought we'd come up here and see what the city's been able to preserve with the help of dedicated volunteers. The plantings have really started to mature now, and you get the whole idea of the preserve that's here, the marsh itself. You can see the beautiful views of the mountains here in Carpinteria. This is a great place to get a real flavor for what Carpinteria is living is like. Over here you have the mobile home park on Ash Avenue, which provides some affordable housing thanks to our city's mobile home rent control ordinance. The marsh itself, where you're shooting now. On to your left, there's some birds flying in and out of the reeds. The Sandyland Cove area behind that. And then further to the left is the new city bathroom facility and the Ash Avenue Beach. And this is one of my favorite places in the city to come because you can launch your boat or your kayak there on Ash Avenue and get a look at Carpinteria from the ocean as well.
Okay, we're coming back up Linden now.
Okay, Kilovac is on our right. And to our right is Kilovac, where they make electrical things of some very technical sort. Coming up Linden is the reverse of the famous 4th of July and the Christmas parade route that all council members know and many of our community organizations.
Is that fun to be in the electric light parade?
Yeah, it actually is a lot of fun to see the community come out and to represent the city at those events. We're also going to have the Avocado Festival here in just a few weeks. You see the seal fountain there on the right. Many of these things have been put in since I became a council member in 1990, and it's nice for me to drive through town and look at changes that are positive that have come about while I've been on the city council. Okay, Larry, we're driving up to City Hall. We're going to check my mail this Saturday morning. Before we do that, I'd like to take you back here to the Public Works Yard, which is a rarely seen aspect of City Hall. Back there in the far back, you can see our new boat, which is used for beach activities. It's used to take classes of kids out on snorkeling trips and other instruction. It's used for safety during kayaking classes and other things. And our park director, Matt Roberts, took it out on its first maiden voyage yesterday. Now let's go check my mail.
Okay.
Come on in, Larry. We're going to check the mail, and then we'll take a quick tour of how the council members get into the council chambers. This is the City Hall front office. I'm sure you've been in here many times as a city videographer for our televised council meetings. This is my mail for about the last 5 days. Look forward to seeing what's in here. Now come with me.
Is it a lot of work to read the materials you get and figure out how you stand on them?
Well, it's a lot of work reading through them all. Just like anybody else, council members get a lot of junk mail, but there's a lot of good communication from citizens, which is really the most important thing that's in my mail. Larry, come on in. We're going to go into the council chambers through the council members' entrance. And just to kind of simulate what happens on Monday at 5:29 when we all come into the meeting. We come in, take our seats, the audience sits out there, the city staff is in those chairs, and we are ready to have council meeting.
So Mike, how does it feel sitting in this chair here up on the dais?
Well, you get all kinds of feelings, Larry, when you sit here, from rapturous joy to bitter disappointment, depending on what's going on in the room and whether you agree with it. So can't really say it feels one way or the other. Overall, though, it's a real satisfying feeling to be able to provide community service in this way that's appreciated by people.
Cameras rolling again.
Larry, off to our right, you see the city's new Bluffs Preserve, which was obtained with help from the citizens for the Carpinteria Bluffs, led by Ted Rhodes. It's going to be a great addition to the city's park system, and was many years in bringing this to fruition. Today it looks like it's a real popular place. Lots of people love to come here and walk. I know I do, and love to bring my kids here to walk around as well. Larry, we got here at the Bluffs on Bluffs Cleanup Day. You can take a shot here and see the beautiful property and how people are enjoying jogging and hiking paths. And then turn around over here and you'll see the dedicated volunteers I was telling you about before, including Mr. Ted Rhodes over there in the hat. And all of these folks are here ready to make sure the Bluffs is clean and maintained and presents a pretty picture of Carpinteria for anybody who comes to visit. Well, Larry, thanks for following me around this Saturday morning, and I'd like to ask everybody for their vote come November. I'd like to continue to make Carpinteria a better place and to preserve what we have here, especially our quality of life and the specialness of this place where we live.
Thank you, Mike. Mike Ledbetter.
Greetings.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Hernandez, nice to see you.
Nice to have you here.
And who's this?
This is Cutie.
Hi, Kitty.
This is Cutie. Well,
Nice
come
to
on
see you.
in.
Okay, well, thank you. So here we are in Singing Springs. Looks like you have a nice place here.
We're happy with it. This is our home. This is where we spend not a whole lot of time, but this is where we just like to relax and enjoy each other's company here at the Hernandez and Tilley household.
So your wife is?
My wife is Nancy Tilley. Most of you may know her as being president of the Chamber of Commerce. And our son Christopher, who's 11 years old, is a student at the middle school and a football player for the Boys and Girls Club.
Is his picture around here?
His picture, well, we've got a couple of them. I'm going to embarrass him. So this is his baby picture up here.
Okay. Okay, he's now embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his handsome photo, if you come over here, if you can get a shot of that, Larry. That's our big guy. And in case people don't have a face to put with a name, there's Nancy right there.
Okay. How long have you guys been married?
We're going on our 17th year.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Christopher is going to be 12 in a couple days, so I'll say happy birthday, Christopher.
Okay. And anything in particular you'd like to show me here in your place?
Well, I think the interesting part of Singing Springs is outside, so I'll save that for later.
Okay,
All
very
right.
good. Well, Cutie, shall we move along and do some touring with your candidate? Do you consider yourself his dad, or is it a she or he?
It's a she. It's a she, and she's one of the family.
Okay, just one of the family.
Yep.
Okay.
So why don't we head on outside?
Okay, very good. Let's go. Is Cutie coming with us?
She's got to.
Okay.
This house would be a mess if I didn't take her. Okay, come on.
Okay, here we go.
Come on, let's go, girl. Come on.
Well, it's a little overcast today, but you say you appreciate the weather here?
Oh, yes. Growing up in Palm Springs, I enjoy the cool weather.
You grew up in Palm Springs, actually Cathedral City, is it?
That's my hometown, correct. That's where I grew up, and nobody really knows Cathedral City, so we say Palm Springs. But small town, had about 2,300 people. And of course back then there wasn't really a whole lot to do, for kids that is. Okay. The living in Cathedral City as a kid was an enjoyable experience because it was a small town of about 3,000 people. And it seems like every place I've lived, it's been a small town atmosphere. But it took just one trip to this area to convince me that this is where I wanted to be.
Did you just happen to be touring through Carpinteria, or how did you come here?
Well, it's an interesting story. I had...
and actually, where are we standing here?
This is the creek area of the Singing Springs complex, and our complex here owns property up to the middle of the creek. And if you look in the back there, it's the Salzburg Meadow area with the eucalyptus trees in the background over there. Watch out, Larry.
Okay. And you were saying how you ended up here?
Well, I was a member of 4-H as a teenager, and I attended a leadership conference at UCSB in 1972, and I remember driving here and coming over the 101 when you got to about the Baylord area and seeing the coastal area, and to me that was just awing. It was just unbelievable how beautiful it was, and I continued to come here for every summer for 3 years as part of the 4-H conference, and I made my applications for college, and I got a response back from Westmont College, and it was the thickest of the 6 that I got back. And of course, the volume at that time really impressed me, and that's where I decided to go to school at.
Gotcha.
So I went to Westmont in 1976. I went there to play soccer, and just by coincidence I ended up with a degree in, a Bachelor of Art degree in political science and sociology, so it worked out really well.
Oh, gotcha. Well, should we move on here?
Sure. If you look at the complex here with the creek, we have been very proud of our maintenance of this area. When we came to this complex, one of the primary things that the board was really trying to achieve was maintenance of this area, and we stopped a lot of dumping into the creek, and we feel that we've been very good stewards of this property, and we look forward to continuing maintaining this area. And you can tell just the natural beauty is just unbelievable. When the winters come and the rains hit, it's even more beautiful because you get the sound of the water rushing through here. When you couple that with the sounding of the breakers off the ocean, which is just about 3 blocks from here, it makes for a real enjoying, peaceful atmosphere.
I guess the Singing Springs name comes from the creek singing?
No, the intent behind the Singing Springs was the architect wanted to put a creek that ran all the way through the entire complex, and they couldn't get it going for one reason or another, so you'll still see parts of remnants of the creek bed that they wanted to put through here, but that's where the name Singing Springs came from.
Gotcha.
Come on, let's go get your treat. Come on.
By the way, we are up to 7 minutes, and we have up to 8.
Okay, let's get that treat. Let's get that treat. Okay, stay.
Here's the good stuff, Judy.
Okay, go on. Good girl.
Doesn't know which one to eat first.
No, she counts them. Hey Larry, why don't you come on in? Let's go for a ride.
Okay. Okay, we're rolling now.
Okay, Larry, right now we're heading over towards the Carpinteria Boys and Girls Club. Of course, right now we're by the middle school, and I'm going to spend some time at a place where I've spent a lot of time myself. In fact, it's kind of a funny story. I've spent a lot of time at the Boys and Girls Club over the past 8 years. And at the Boys and Girls Club, I was president there for 3.5 years, which is the longest term as president in the Santa Barbara County area for any Boys and Girls Club. And in talking with people in the community, one of the things that they seem to believe is that I'm an employee of the Boys and Girls Club, which, as I look back on it, as much time as I've spent there, I guess it's it's an easy conclusion to reach, but just to let people know, I am not an employee there. I'm just a volunteer.
Okay.
So.
By the way, we just passed the school, and what do you think of our school system?
You know, my son goes to public schools here. He's at the middle school, as I mentioned earlier, and you know, I think any education system is as good as you make it. I firmly believe that if any child is going to succeed, that they have to have parent involvement. And I know Christopher and I and Nancy, we've all had some late nights, you know, trying to work out some of his homework problems. But you know, again, it falls back on us, the parents, to make sure that Christopher understands the importance of education. And I know when I was a child in public schools, my parents weren't able to participate with my education process only because both of them worked manual labor jobs, and I know they were very exhausted by the time they came home at night, and I didn't really ask them to help out.
I think that's Marty Rosales,
yes,
getting ready for the football game tonight.
Yep.
Were your parents born here?
No. My mom is from San Luis Potosí, Mexico, and my father is from Mission, Texas. And back in the house, I don't know if you got a picture of it, but we had some cactus fruit.
Oh, I did see it, yeah.
On the table, and my mom, her little town of Arista is in the tuna capital, the pear fruit capital of or area of Mexico down there. And like we have orange groves, they have cactus groves, and that's what they harvest, the prickly pear fruit.
What do you think about the state of the Latino Caucasian community here in Carpinteria?
You know, it's a good question, because I think what we see here, or what's happening here in Carpinteria, is happening statewide. We've got a lot of Hispanic people in this community, and we've got second, third generation removed from Mexico who are, you know, most of your residents in town from the Hispanic background, they're permanent residents. And then you have the people who have just come here, who are working a lot of your manual labor jobs. And you know, my frustration with what's happening here in the city of Carpinteria is that there doesn't seem to be any communication with that segment of our population. And you know, to me, there's been some divisiveness and just a lack of cooperation from, you know, in both parts, because there is a language barrier. And you know, one of the things I hope to accomplish, should I be elected, is to be able to bridge that gap with the Spanish-speaking population. So it's, you know, they provide a service, and you know, irregardless of, you know, what our opinions are, there isn't very many other people that would be willing to do the type of work that they do. And you know, I know my parents were in manual labor. You know, they picked cotton, they picked fruit. And my dad, you know, he was a gardener in Palm Springs, you know, for 26 years, and to me that was, you know, just an unbelievable toll that, you know, it took on his body because of having to work manual labor type jobs. But here we are at the Boys and Girls Club.
By the way, we're up at 12 minutes here.
Okay.
We're recording.
Okay, we're here at the Carpinteria Boys and Girls Club, and this has been my home away from home for the past 7-8 years. I've recently served as board president here, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes here just showing people what types of things we've accomplished and where we're heading with the Boys and Girls Club. And one of the things that I would do as a city council person is I would re-emphasize the commitment to the youth in this area. Our youth is going to be our leaders of tomorrow, and I really believe that if we take care of kids now, that they will become stronger leaders tomorrow. One of the examples is in this particular area, the Boys and Girls Club, which is a patio area. We're trying to build a teen resource center, and this area right here where we're standing right now would be used for teenagers. We want to try and separate the teenagers from our younger members in hopes of giving both groups a better enriched time here at the Boys and Girls Club. Also, a part of this capital campaign program, which Nancy Tilley, my wife, is heading, we're going to expand the daycare, and we're also going to improve our bathroom facilities to make them handicap capable. And you know, this is one of the projects that we've worked on. We worked on very hard here. When I came to this club, the emphasis back then was on sports, and as part of my tutelage as president, one of the things that I really wanted to accomplish is I wanted the mindset to be changed that the Boys and Girls Club isn't about sports anymore. I wanted to emphasize programs such as job career path. I wanted to get kids into the arts and crafts, and we have a great arts and crafts director now. I wanted to break away from the old mold that, you know, we're here for sports programs, and that's not true. The Boys and Girls Club of America offers a wide variety of programs, and you know, we've started to really make that bridge. We are starting to improve the programs that we offer kids on a day-to-day basis, and you know, we're committed to the kids, and we're hoping to provide a foundation by which the kids can become strong leaders of Carpinteria in 20, 25 years. So this is the Boys and Girls Club, and you know, I cherish the time I've been here, and I was here before my son was an eligible member, so you know, I've committed myself to the kids, and I know I got help when I was a youngster and kept me going on the right path, and I want to provide the same thing for other kids in our community.
There goes some of our youth right now.
The more athletic. So with that, we'll move on.
Okay, let's go.
So now we're going to head up to one of the hilltop areas, and now we're heading up towards the home of John and Vera Welty. They've been gracious enough to allow me to film up here, so this is where we'll end the portion of my program.
Okay, very good.
And you can see we got some of our kids again running their PE laps.
So why are you running for City Council?
Well, you know, I think it's a natural progression from my time at the Boys and Girls Club. I've served there, and I think now that I don't have to serve as president, John Balch is now serving as president, and the club is in good hands. I felt it was time for me to expand and do other things, and running for City Council was one of those, and it's just, you know, another service to the community that I think is important to everyone. We're now here at the home of the Weltys, up above the foothills of Carpinteria, and you had asked me earlier why I had decided to run, and again, you know, I think it's just a progression from my days at the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm dedicated to this community, and I want to make sure that the best things happen for this community, and we preserve our Carpinteria hometown image. I grew up in Cathedral City, and it was a small town when I grew up, and now it's huge. So, you know, I'm hoping to maintain what we have here now, and address some of the issues that I think are very important to the community makeup of Carpinteria, such as housing. We need to find solutions for housing. We have an incredible amount of people who are living, you know, 4, 5, 6 people to a unit, and I think there's solutions around that problem. I need to concentrate on that, and that's one of the issues I'm going to, you know, make sure it gets addressed. And I'm going to work with the Hispanic population. I want to make sure that they understand what's happening here in the city of Carpinteria, and you know, they make up a good chunk of our community, and they need to be involved in a very positive way. And I know in working with my my volunteer time at the church at St. Joseph's Carnival, you know, I've intermingled with them, and I know what some of their problems are. I don't have all the answers right now, but I think I can get them. There are solutions. I would also focus on maintaining property rights. I think that's one of our primary rights as citizens of this great country, is to be able to purchase property and to be able to hold on to it without infringement, and that's, you know, one of the things I would focus on. And again, as mentioned at the Boys and Girls Club earlier, that I would try and get more involvement with the youth from the city. I think the city needs to play a bigger role in that area, and I think they need to, the city needs to be in communication with those agencies in our community, such as the school district. I think we need to have better collaboration there. Some problems existed in the past, and I think they could have been avoided just with a little communication, and I hope to be able to do that. I've had a lot of contacts with people in the community, and I hope to expand that by serving as their city council person. So those are the reasons I'm running, and I'm looking forward to it. He's supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without him. And those people in the community as well who are supporting me, thank you, and let's go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Come on in. Watch the pooch.
So Dick Weinberg, nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, good.
All right.
I see your wife there, Libby.
Yeah, this is Libby.
Hi, Larry.
How are you?
Great.
So what's going on here?
Well, we're getting ready to take our tour today, I guess. I know you've been here many times before, and we've had a number of parties, and we had our tour 4 years ago. So there isn't a lot new here at the house, except for a couple of things I'd like to show you.
Okay.
Over here is a three-dimensional portrait. We call it our Woody, and it's Libby and me. It was done by Ron Anderson, a local Carpinteria artist, and our kids gave that to us on our 70th birthday.
That's nice.
On my 70th birthday. And then one other thing that I'm very proud of is that we're carrying on a little tradition of Carpinteria, in that my flagpole here has flown at Maine School since 1936. And last year they decided to get a new flagpole, and so they auctioned this one off, and I bought it, brought it home, spent the summer cleaning it up and repainting it and fixing it, and used the original ball and all. And so now it will fly for another 36 years here in Carpinteria.
That's nice. Well, shall we go?
Yeah, we've got a very unique situation today, and it's the first day of our electric shuttle bus service that starts this afternoon. So I thought we'd go over to City Hall and we'll take a look at the bus, and then we'll take a ride on our new Seaside shuttle.
Okay, great.
Well, here comes our new Seaside shuttle bus, and it's going to stop here, and we have a chance to get on and take a little ride.
Nice looking.
Yeah, to see the theme?
Yeah, I'll have to
Seaside shuttle.
Okay, let's get on.
Okay, and then I'm going to get on, and it's 25 cents to ride all over Carpinteria, and here's the first quarter.
Okay.
Just that easy.
So Dick, where does the shuttle go?
Well, it goes up here to Casitas Pass, as we're going now, to Ogun, Ogun to Camino Triado to El Caro, all the way through Malibu, on the way out to Santa Ynez, comes back Santa Ynez, connects with the Line 20 bus stop at Dahlia Court, across back down to Carpinteria Avenue to Linden, Linden to the beach to the salt marsh, and back.
I'm going to get a shot of the logo here.
Yeah, isn't that a neat logo?
So this is a nice smooth ride.
Isn't it nice and quiet?
Tell me, what's the value to the community of having a shuttle?
Well, in the first place, it's mass transit or public transit, so kids can go to the beach riding on the shuttle, they can go to school, they can go to the pool. They don't have to have mom drive them wherever they want to go. It's an electric shuttle, so it's quiet in the neighborhoods as we're going through here. It won't disturb the neighbors. It doesn't belch any diesel or gas fumes, so it's pollution free, and it's a fun little ride, and should make everybody very happy. We have two buses. They'll run 15-minute intervals in the morning so people can get to work, and then the rest of the day it'll run on half-hour schedules, and it'll run Monday through, it runs 7 days a week. So we ought to have a lot of fun riding the shuttle, and most of it is being paid for with federal funds.
So where are we now, Dick?
Well, now we're on Linden, going past the Canalino School. And notice that the streets are all newly paved and striped, and that we have the new crossing signal for the safety of the kids. You can pull in.
So Dick, we're getting off here?
Now we're going to get off here and go over and talk to some people at Dahlia Court.
Okay.
And here we are at Dahlia Court. This is a low-income worker housing project that was really run down. The landlord had been taking advantage of the workers, and the city was able to work with People's Self-Help, Jeanette McDonald here, to renovate this program and get decent housing for the people that are here. I think there are, what, 55 units?
There are 55 units, and we've converted two to community space. So we have now a health clinic, and we also have an after-school program, and the housing's getting all renovated, and it's just a gorgeous living environment we're creating here. It's a tough job, but we're getting there.
Let's show it.
This is one that we started on that was in really bad shape.
By the way, they're up to 7 minutes.
And
Okay.
we'll just go in here. We've done a lot of prep work already, but this kitchen, the countertops, the plumbing leaked so bad. There were actual earthworms living in the rotted wood. There were so many cockroach infestations, and of course mice and rats, and mold everywhere because of the plumbing leaks. It was a terrible situation for small children to live in. The bedrooms were covered with mold all over the walls and in the ceiling. So this one is about a fourth of the way into construction, and then we want you to see one that's finished.
Yeah, let's go take a look at one that's all done now. You can see the difference.
Impressive.
And Dick, what was the city's involvement with this?
Well, we took some of our housing funds, our development impact fee funds, and we were able to pool a number of funds together and take some of our federal application funds and help people self-help to, we ended up with what? This is about a $4 million project.
Yes,
And,
unfortunately, just because of the price of real estate and then the condition of the units, we're ending up with about between $4 and $5 million. But what's more interesting is the partners that we had. We had the city, we had the state give us some farmer grant funds because some of the people here work in agriculture.
I also want you to meet Jose Nunez. He's the resident manager here for Dahlia Court. Doing a great job. Right, Jose?
Yep, try my best. And now.
Dick, this is one of the units that's finished.
Aha.
The Gutierrez family actually has lived at Dahlia Court 20 years, but the condition of their unit was just horrible. This is Mrs. Gutierrez.
Hi, Ms. Gutierrez.
Her husband's been a superintendent at H&M Roses for 20 years, and they've lived here 20 years.
And these are all the kids.
They're all, some are in school, but when we bought the complex in December, they were in another unit that was in horrible condition. Plumbing, repairs, the whole ceiling was down.
Let's take a look at the kitchen
But look at
so
the
we
new
can compare.
kitchen. And of course, we have all new kitchen cabinets. We've got new appliances, new countertops. As you can see, it's really a
Oh, that's really nice.
beautiful living environment.
Yeah.
She can cook.
New refrigerator.
Oh yeah, everything brand new. Big difference.
Okay, ahora.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cute kids.
And we're going to take that laundry room down and add a new laundry room onto our community room here to make it
okay.
much bigger. And this is where we have our after-school programs. Some of the parents are here. This is Mrs.
Hi.
Alcala, and this is Stephania, and some little ones.
Hi, kids.
Mrs. Alcala is a nurse, and she's working with a lot of the families here with the health clinic. So we need to now go and look in the clinic.
Yeah, you got to see this clinic.
It's wonderful. This is the waiting room for the clinic, and Mrs. Alcala has been working with the doctors and the nurses from the clinics and the various service providers. And we have our examination room here. We've already had 4 clinics. We have a women's health program, both health prevention as well as health education and then any kind of detection. And what we're hoping to do is have the people have enough knowledge if there is a problem, direct them to services. So it's really a wonderful,
Very
wonderful
nice.
asset for the community.
What an improvement. And now here we are on Carpinteria Avenue, and as you can see, we've got an awful lot of improvements, wider sidewalks for people to walk and visit and shop, new lighting, repaved streets, and everybody is generally picking up and improving our whole downtown T area.
Go ahead.
And we're going to see Mills Corner on the right, and as you know, that's where the old Mills Pharmacy was, and now it's a real nice little restful park.
Okay, Dick, we're up to about 12 minutes. Where are we now?
And appropriately, we're going by Kilovac. You see the little electric charging station right there where they have their electric car. And Kilovac is a local manufacturer that has made a lot of contactors and subcomponent parts for this electric seaside shuttle. So here on the right is our city parking lot, our railroad platform that came in the last couple of years, our skateboard park down at the end of the parking lot. And over here on the, we have, I think it's 8 trains a day that come through.
And yeah.
And there's Ted. Hi, Ted. Hey. And over here we have our Linden Field, where the kids play their soccer games and the people on the weekends enjoy the beach area. There you can see the beach. Okay.
Go ahead.
An interesting thing that a lot of people down in the beach area will be interested in is that this whole area is a low floodplain. And so the city, we're surveying this to try and see how we can make the water flow by gravity back to the ocean and back to the creek beds. So this will be about a 5-year project that will cost some of their neighborhoods of $100,000 a year. So we'll be spending over $500,000 upgrading this whole area with both underground water flow and some gutter flow. But we want to avoid any nuisance water standing around or flooding area that is injurious to the kids and unhealthy.
Go ahead.
And over here we have the Salt Marsh Nature Park, a cooperative effort with UCSB, and of course the city bought this section of the park just so everybody can see how the wetlands operate and how the birds and the fish live. We have docent tours on Saturdays, and this is a wonderful park for people to come and see nature in its natural state. And by the way, Larry, here's a route of our seaside shuttle so that people can get an idea of where it goes. And we're right now down at the Linden Avenue beach parking area. I just wanted to take a moment to show you the world's safest beach. And as you know, for the last 3 years, we've been listed in the top 20 beaches in the whole United States, the only one in California. And thanks to Matt Roberts and all of his people in our Parks and Recreation Department, we've got terrific programs for the kids and for our tourists and visiting friends to come and enjoy our wonderful city and our terrific beaches. And here we are. This is the playground of Maine School. This is where I got my flagpole from.
And where are we going to
And
now?
this is Palm Avenue, and we're going to go to the 410 Palm building, which is a mixed-use housing project that the city was very much involved in getting started. Here's an example of some innovative housing ideas that the city has worked with the developer on. This is a 36-unit mixed-use housing project where the people will work in their shops and live in the same facility. And as you can see, they can walk to the beach, they can walk downtown to do their shopping, and of course they live and work right here. It's the old lima bean plant, if you remember that. And when it's finished, it will resemble the old plants. There we are, and had a great ride on the Seaside Shuttle. Thank you very much, Albert. It's a great ride. Okay, and I wanted to bring you out to the bluffs, which everybody knows and loves, with one final message, and that is that the railroad is interested in putting a siding or a switching area out here in front of the bluffs. And I took some pictures that I'd like you to see to show you just what it would look like. The top picture, of course, is what the bluffs looks like today, where you can see the ocean, etc. The bottom picture would show you what it would look like if the train was allowed to sit on the siding for any period of time. And as you can see, our view and our access to the ocean would be completely stopped. Now, the citizens for the bluffs are encouraging people to write a letter to the Coastal Commission and tell them that you don't like the siding and don't want it here. So do us all a favor and write those letters. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of Carpinteria and that you've learned a little bit more about what goes on in our community. And if you like what you see, please vote for me.
Hi Larry, how's it going? Come on in.
Gandrud, how are you doing today?
Great, nice to see you. I've been expecting you.
Okay, good, I bet.
Can I get you a soda or anything?
Yeah, I have a Coke if you have one.
Yeah, I think I do. Come on in the kitchen.
Always want
Coke, huh?
to look inside a candidate's refrigerator. Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Put it right over here for now. And what should we do?
Well, you know, I'd like to show you where I work. I've got a pretty short commute, so why don't you come on in my office?
Okay,
it's right
good.
down the hall. Doesn't take me much time to get to work. Have a seat on my couch.
Okay, do a little pan around here. And you're an accountant?
That's right. I'm an accountant and I work from home. I see about 400 clients a year. Most of them are in Carpinteria, some are in Santa Barbara and other areas. And one of the things that makes me really want to run for city council is the education that I've gotten in working for my clients, seeing how they're impacted by taxes and government regulations and things. It's really given me a pretty good understanding of people and their incomes and their families and things. And a few years ago I joined the Chamber of Commerce and I was invited to serve on the Government Relations Committee, and the committee asked me if I would please review some of the city budgets because people wanted to have a better understanding of where our tax revenues were coming from and how our government funds were being spent. So I took home a stack of these budgets. I actually have gone over about 12 years worth of budgets at this point in time. Some other documents like the general plan update, things like that. And it's been very interesting to see how our government operates, and I think that's given me a pretty good basis for running for city council.
Okay, very good. Shall we move on? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to take you out in my garden and show you some of the things that I've done with my home here.
Okay, I'd like to see it.
Come on, right this way.
Who's this?
This is my cat, Joe.
Joey, what type of cat?
He's a Berman. He's a great cat, very friendly. I think he actually thinks he's a dog. I want to introduce you to some friends of mine, Larry.
Okay. What do we have here?
Well, we have my 4 ducks. We have Bill, Monica, Hillary, and Chelsea. Come here, duckies. Come here, duckies. Come here. You might want to go over there so that you get the... Come here. Come here, Hillary. Come here, Hillary.
That's Hillary there?
That's Hillary, the brown one. Yeah, they each lay an egg almost every day. And I had a nice duck egg omelet today.
Do they taste different than regular eggs?
They're delicious. They're better than chicken eggs.
Okay. Yeah.
I try to garden as much organically as possible. I want to show you some of the things that have come from the garden today. These are some of the duck eggs that were laid by Hillary, Monica, and Chelsea. Look at the size of these guavas. It's just amazing what can grow and you have the right soil. And I do compost things and mix all that into the soil. This is a great fig tree. You can see it's just loaded with figs. These are the white Genoa figs. Would you like to try one?
Maybe later on. Eat them right off the tree, huh?
They're delicious. It's incredible. Let me show you my vegetable garden.
Okay. Okay, and what do we have here?
Well, this is my vegetable garden. In addition to 30 different kinds of fruit that I'm growing here on my property, I've got a lot of different vegetables. I've got tomatoes and artichokes, kale, Brussels sprouts, eggplant, sorrel, onions, herbs, lettuces, chard, cabbage, beans. It changes from season to season. I grow a lot of my own food. I come out and pick my own salad for dinner. I really enjoy my garden.
Go ahead.
Here's a great bunch of bananas that's coming. These are going to be ripe pretty soon. This paving stone driveway is one of the environmentally friendly features of the property, and I want to talk more about that a little bit later when we talk about the creek pollution. This is my compost pile. It's pretty big size. This ends up back in the vegetable garden and in the fruit trees, and that's what makes everything grow so well here.
Yeah, what do we have here?
Well, instead of putting my garbage from the kitchen scraps down the garbage disposal, what I do is I put them in my worm bin. This is a vermiculture bin, and the worms are actually eating up my kitchen scraps, and that ends up back in the vegetable garden too. Why don't we jump in the car and take a drive on down to the beach, one of my favorite places. You know, the incumbents have really been blessed with a good economy because that's provided a lot of government revenues so that they could do some beautification projects for the community. I think they've done a pretty good job. But unfortunately, they failed to take action that's necessary to clean up our creeks and our beaches. We really need to adopt a watershed approach in dealing with the environmental problems. As the rains fall on our mountainsides, they wash wild animal waste down from the mountains, and the rainwater rolls across our agricultural lands and our lawns and our streets and driveways and rooftops, and it carries with it really a toxic soup of chemicals and pet waste and automotive byproducts and things, and all of that ends up into our creeks and ultimately runs down to our beaches. I really believe that landowners ought to be encouraged through economic incentives to help nature to provide natural processes for filtering the runoff. Remember, back at my house we have the interlocking paving stone driveway. Those sorts of permeable hardscape features actually help the water to become filtered through natural processes. Good bacteria actually live around and under those paving stones and in the gravel bed under the rocks, under the stones themselves, and that provides natural filtration. We should be trying to identify point sources of pollution. And I think also we could try to store more of our rainwater from our roofs into cisterns that could be used for irrigation. I also think we really need to educate people so that people know the full environmental impacts of their actions, and I think we need to bring awareness of new approaches to the problems to all segments of our community. These sycamores and cottonwoods are really preferable for the banks of creeks because they actually prevent erosion and they provide additional filtration. Also, these very large trees shade the creek, which prevents algal blooms, and it also cools the water so that native species like trout and frogs actually find habitat where they can reproduce. Why don't we go on to the bluffs? You know, one of the reasons that I came to Carpinteria is because I wanted to live in a place that had a small town atmosphere and was safe and clean and didn't have any traffic. And I think what we need to do is we need to preserve that while at the same time creating opportunities for the people who are already in Carpinteria so that everybody in Carpinteria can share in our community's vision. One of the other projects that I'd like to do is I'd like to give our community access to the historic Franklin Trail. If we could connect the trail, we would be able to go up into the Los Padres National Forest, which I think would create a lot of great recreational opportunities for everybody in the community. I'd also like to see more ball fields for our young people so that they have better things to do. Well, here we are in downtown Carpinteria. You know, wealth starts with dreams, and overregulation prevents investment in our community. I want to work with small businesses to create more opportunity here in Carpinteria, because this will give us the resources that we need to pay for the things that we all want to have for Carpinteria. You know, there are a lot of opportunities for housing near the central business district and the area closer to the beach off of Linden. Less than half of our residents in Carpinteria are able to own their own homes, and I think we need to have more objective standards for development that apply equally to everyone. Currently, I believe there is overregulation, and that this is what's preventing the creation of more housing units. I would really like to see us work together with local builders, local carpenters, and local bankers so that we actually create housing for our local residents, for the people who are already here. There are a number of bottlenecks in Carpinteria traffic-wise, and I think we need to make improvements to our streets and highways in order to reduce the commuting times for the people who live in Carpinteria. And also we need to be providing emergency access, and also we really need to enhance the safety of our children so that they have a safe way to get to and from school and to get their bikes across the freeway. This is one of our problem intersections, and we need to replace this bridge here at Casitas Pass Road over the 101.
We just passed over the freeway. Are you in favor of having an additional lane on the freeway?
Well, you know, I'd really rather not see the 101 widened, and I think most people in our community opposed it for a long time when it was primarily something that was a Sunday afternoon phenomenon that was tourist related. But I think more and more people who live in Carpinteria are being impacted with their weekday commutes on the 101, and I think we need to be realistic about planning for the future, and I do believe that in the long run I don't think we're going to have any choice but to widen the 101, so I am reluctantly in favor of it in the long run, because I just see that realistically it's something that we're going to have to do. And I think there are other things we can do to reduce traffic too. I think zoning and land use policies impact the amount of traffic on the freeway. I'd like to see us pursue a lot of different approaches for reducing traffic. I would like to see more use of some commuter buses and shared ride services, little shuttles and things like that. I think some people will choose to bike and some people will choose to walk, but there are always going to be a lot of people who want to drive their cars, and we just need to be realistic about accommodating them. I'm really disappointed with the way the City Council clashed with the school board over the middle school modernization project. I want to cooperate with our schools to make sure that our precious school dollars are spent in the classroom on teachers and books and supplies. I think we need to invest in our children's education so that they have the skills that they need to succeed later in life. I'm working to represent all the people of Carpinteria. I want to work to create an atmosphere at the City Council meetings that welcomes everybody in our city. I also want to make sure that our tax money is spent wisely, and I'm going to emphasize long-range planning for our public projects. I also want to work to create appropriate economic opportunities for the people who are already here in Carpinteria so that they can afford adequate housing, and so that our community has the funds needed to pay for the projects that will improve our environment. You can call me at 566-1475. I'm going to work hard for you to make sure that you can rely on our city government and receive the best possible service at the least possible cost. For the tremendous support that I've received from our community, it's a privilege to run for Carpinteria City Council. Please cast one of your votes for me on Tuesday, November 7th. Thank you.
Well, I hope you've benefited from the year 2000 episode of Touring with the Candidates. And from the streets of Carpinteria, this has been your host, Larry Nimmer.